A concussion, cranial swelling, incision into her larynx, and scalding inside the throat and esophagus. Clearly someone forced her to imbibe a caustic fluid, a fire eternal, a scoundrel, a rogue, like every man who wears the robes of the eternal fire. An old story, but if you insist, the student protests in 1242, you've heard of them? I led them. Hubert, however, denounced me to the authorities. I landed in prison. There you have it. And a hopeless idealist. Naturally, I know her. She was my assistant for a year. Apologies. We surgeons, we've a different sensibility, as do I. At the hospital. I must return there. But I shall keep my fingers crossed, as often as required, for, the pursuit of preventive medicine. Because it suits Radovid. You've not heard the story? Better. Right? Blast it. Did you gather any new clues? Blast it. I kill one, another takes its place. But I believe even they could not kill in this manner. So horribly cruel. Yet cold, methodical, with absolute precision. But of course. Yes? What is it? But why? The wound is too small to bleed. And there are signs of swelling. The murderer... I believe he performed a tracheotomy, so the victim wouldn't die too soon. By the main entrance, certainly not. But you can also get inside through the sewers. By virtue of my profession, I know Novigrad's underworld better than most. Dozens of mercenaries, racketeers, bandits and hired assassins have had their turn on my operating table. Rogues, one and all. Clearly not. It was the act of a demented mind, and not its first. Concluding this overlong explanation, I've no notion who's behind it, but I fear them like hell. Dandelion, correct? She uttered the name in her few moments of lucidity. I am Joachim von Gratz, head of surgery. Until recently, a lecturer at Oxenfurt Academy. Due warning, it will stink of rot. Enlighten me, please, because I've still no notion what this is about. What the motive might have been. Even the witch hunters don't engage in this kind of torture. What sin could possibly merit it? Excellent. I trust you don't grow weak in the knees at the sight of blood. Formaldehyde. A medical novelty. Heavily diluted, it's remarkable at preserving organic tissue. In stronger proportions, it's more destructive than acid. Geralt! Hear that? Her wounds will heal, but it's her voice that concerns me. Hey! Help! Help! His right foot. The ankle swollen, toenails broken. He clearly kicked something very hard. Right before he kicked the bucket. Hubert taught me the rudiments of medicine. Long ago. I attended some lectures in herpetology as a student. Afraid I don't recall any amphibians that would lay eggs in corpses. So either Professor Cochrane was deeply mistaken, or this is our murderer's doing. I fear only your friend Dandelion can be of help on that count. I know him, thus I avoid him. I've said enough on the subject. I know perfectly well, and I assure you I can take care of myself. I see. You clearly find gonads fascinating. I fear I don't share your passion. Let's focus on other parts of his anatomy, shall we? I sincerely doubt they bear any relation to the matter. I thought nothing could surprise me in Novigrad. Seems I was wrong. Deeply wrong. I tried to get the temple guard to enter the sewers, alas, to no avail. So I took matters into my own hands. I understand. For the good of the investigation. Will you at least share what you intend to do? I was young and stupid. I thought a better future was worth any price, even a human life or two. But those are past sins, sins I've atoned for. I would suggest examining the previous victim's corpse. It has yet to be autopsied. Doing so could very well provide some clues. I'd expect so. No one could sit through such torture unless bound. I'd say that's certain. Her condition's critical but stable. Beg your pardon, but you are a relative? In that case, we shall meet by the Kingfisher. I'll await you there. Indeed, so thin as to be nearly unnoticeable. Insolent fool! I've been at Vilmerius Hospital ever since. But perhaps it's for the best. I'm far more adept scalpel in hand than I ever was behind a lectern.
I've not time for riddles, Geralt. Be straight or be gone.
I've seen wounds like this. They're not the kind one would forget, don't you agree? In fact, just this week a corpse turned up in the morgue with similar injuries. And no heart, just like Priscilla's. Later, Hierarch Hemmelfart appointed him to oversee the morgue. He deals with the temple guard, supervises cremations, conducts funeral masses in the temple on the Isle, and so forth. Look at this scar. Don't be shy. Any idea what leaves such a mark? Means nothing. Look, no swelling, no bruises. An old injury, perhaps an accident in the workplace? Thank you. My gut tells me she's somewhere along the front, patching up pikemen. I told her it would be futile. In the time she saved 100 lives, another 1,000 would be lost. But medics with a mission. You can't argue with them. No, Geralt, though all in all I should have. No, a statement of fact. 30 years, and you've not changed a bit. No need to look astonished, gentlemen. As a surgeon, I know the importance of preventive medicine. Rather than wait for this maniac to strike again, I'd prefer to excise him. Not unlike a tumour. Notice anything else? That his eyes have been scooped out, for instance? Only as the killer's potential motivation. So it seems. Looking at the wounds, it appears our woodcarver was still alive when it happened. Someone might disturb us. The coroner, for example. Or Reverend Nathaniel Pastodi. Surely you understand what a terrible blow that would be to a Trobritz. Enough to strip her of the will to live. Syphilis, actually. Early stages. No sign of diffusion. Take the ladder.
Thank you, Geralt. Were it not for you, this would never have ceased.
Thank you. I've nothing to hide. It's just an old wound. Unhealed as yet. That I do not know. I do, however, know she is not the perpetrator's first victim.
The rector wished to grant him an honorary doctorate. The faculty disagreed. Nonetheless, Radovid arrived for the ceremony, donned a gown, collected his diploma, and when it was over, imprisoned the deans and the entire academic senate, so they wouldn't raise a stink.
Think. Sewing up drowner victims can grow awfully tedious. Is it not better to nip the problem in the bud? This is Novigrad. Only the innocent burn here. This is the place. Come, the quicker we take care of this, the better. This one's a she. Remember, beards are no indicator of gender amongst dwarves. True in his case as well. Before he donned the frock, Nathaniel was a torturer. Delighted especially in torturing women. Unfortunate. Such individuals are hardest to catch. Very well. We seek the corpse of a dwarven woodcarver. Wait a minute, there's something else. We can discuss this en route. Are you ready? Well then, ready for a stroll through the sewers? We've but one recourse under the circumstances. Caution. Looking out for ourselves and our loved ones. What do you think? A blow sustained at the operating table? No? Let me repeat. I know what I'm doing, and I wish to help. What have we here? Deep wound on the left side of his rib cage, and a scar the length of his stomach. What will you do now? Where? Witcher!
Yes, Geralt?
Yes, it's not far now. Yes, that of a victim. Spent a year in the dungeons of Tretogor. Long story. Yes, and some grey dust. Ash, it seems. Very fine. You lead. You've not changed a bit.